Good morning, students. So, I am going to start Events Tries in O level part 3 because in the previous part 1 and 2, Partha sir discussed details of the lesson up to page number 10. And as we know that it is a very critical lesson, the plot is very critical. Unless and until you go through line by line, you won't be able to understand. Because by watching that PPT or something like that, you won't understand. So the important thing is that you remember that while you go through this line, that you have to go between the lines. Unless and until you go between the lines, you will not be able to understand. So many points are there which you need to remember because this story is a very critical one. And since it is a detective story, and it is about a jailbreak, Roderick Evans, who ran away from the jail 3 times, and it would be 4th times. And therefore, now this time he has made a very wonderful idea. Just he wanted to appear in the O level of German language. And for this, he requested the prison authority to allow him to appear in the board exam. And accordingly, all arrangements have been made, and the exam has also started. So 9:25 the exam was started, and now it is 10:51 a.m. Stephens was more than little surprised to see a grey regulation blanket draped around Evans' shoulders, and frowned slightly to look at the examinee more closely. Because here the use of blanket is very important, because a blanket was draped around Evans' shoulders. He was wearing a blanket, and here inside this blanket something will go. So here Stephens was closely monitoring him, and he surprised to see that Evans is wearing a blanket. So should Stephens report the slight irregularity, anything at all fishy, Haddon Jackson said. He looked through the peephole once again, and even as he did so, Evans pulled the dirty blanket more closely to himself. Means he had a secret plan with that blanket, and in the meantime Stephen had to be inside that prison cell, but Evans made another tricky technique that if he is there inside the cell, then certainly it would disturb his concentration. Therefore, Stephens, he decided to monitor him from the outside through the peephole. Is it clear up to here? So at 11:20 a.m., the receiver once more crackled across the silence of the governor's office, and McCleary informed Evans that only 5 minutes remained. The examination was almost over now, but something still gnawed away quietly. So gnawed away here, it means it's a kind of biting. It's a kind of biting. So that, what to say, he reached for the phone once more. The examination was almost over, but something still gnawed away quietly in the governor's mind. The governor was not in rest, and something is biting in his mind. He reached for the phone once more. At 11:22, Jackson shouted along the corridor to Stephens. The governor wanted to speak with him. Hurry, man. So that was a fake call. Remember this one. At 11:22, there was a phone call, and that was a fake call. Fake call means the call was made by the friends of or the companions of Evans. So Stephens picked up the phone apprehensively, fearfully, and listened to the rapidly spoken order. Stephens himself was at accompanying McCleary to the main prison gate. means the exam is over. Therefore, McClary should be escorted to the main gate. Understood? Stephens personally was make absolutely sure that the door was locked on Evans after McClary had left the cell. Understood? So the door was closed, and Stephens accompanied McClary to the prison main gate. At 11:25 a.m., the governor heard the final exchanges. Final exchanges means here, stop writing please, silence. So the exam is almost about to over, and as it is instructed that Stephens he should accompany McClary to the prison main gate, and finally McClary comes out. The governor heard the door clang for the last time. The examination was over. In the meantime, what was happening inside the cell, the governor was closely monitoring from his own chamber. Now, how did he get on? Do you think? Asked Stephens as he walked beside McClary to the main gate. Oh, I cannot think that. Think he is distinguished himself, I am afraid. His Scots accent seemed broader than ever, and his long black overcoat reaching almost to his knees fostered the illusion that he had suddenly grown slimmer. Means here, Stephen, he had some doubt about that McClary while he was accompanying him towards the main gate. Stephen felt pleased that the governor had asked him and not Jackson to see McClary off premises. Here you can see that Stephens is little bit silly headed because he is boasting now. He feels proud to be called him to accompany McClary to the main gate. But something stopped him from making his way directly to the canteen for belated cup of tea. And still, since he was very busy with the exam procedure, therefore that day he forgot to even to take a cup of coffee from the canteen. So he wanted to go to that canteen, but before that, the idea came to his mind that he should at least go once again to the prison cell, and he should be looked through the peephole. He re-entered the D wing, made his way along the Evans cell, and opened the peephole once more. Oh no, Christ, no! There sprawled back in Evans' chair was a man. That means there was another McClary who was sprawling, means with his loose hands and legs he was almost lying and was about to die. And seeing this, he lost almost his conscience. He closely cropped, irregularly tucked hair, washed with a fierce red blood which had dripped already through the small black beard, means the Mr. McClary has been severely injured, and that made him very much nervous. Stephen shouted wildly for Jackson, and Jackson was nearby, and he shouted appeared to penetrate the curtain of blood that veiled McClary's ears, for minister's hand felt feebly for a handkerchief from his pocket and held it to his bleeding head. So that means here we can say that McClary, who is there inside this prison cell, he is bleeding, he is severely injured, but that Evans, in disguise of McClary, he went out. That was the idea of Stephens and Jackson's. McClary slowly raised himself, his face twisted tightly with pain, and he was pretending that he was in great pain. Didn't worry about the ambulance, man. I'm right, means I'm all right. Get the police. I know where he. Means McClary is pretending that He is that real McClary, and he knows where Evans has gone. Therefore, instead of calling for an ambulance, he requests them to call for police. His hands left along the table found the German question paper and grasped it tightly in his blood-stained hand. Get the governor. I know. Where Evans? Means there was a paper still lying on the table, and that German question paper. There was some information that he wanted to give to to, to that governor. Almost immediately, sirens were sounding. Prison officer barked orders. That means there was a hue and cry all around. As we can see, when a prisoner runs away from the jail, what is the condition you can imagine. So, and within a minute, McClary with Jackson and Stephens supporting him on either side, his face now streaked and caked with drying blood, was greeted in the prison yard by governor, perplexed and grim. And the governor has seen the condition of Mr. McClary, and the governor is perplexed. He is in a fix what to do, and at the same time he is also very sad because he could guess that no longer Evans is in anywhere else. He might have gone far away. So we must get you to hospital immediately. I just don't. We have called the police. Yes, they are on their way. But I am right. And he refuses every time that he should not be sent to the hospital. Instead, he should be sent with the police van so that he can find out where Evans had gone. The governor looked down and realized what McClary was trying to tell him. A photocopied sheet had been carefully and cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper. The last page was empty, that means nothing was written over there. Therefore, one extra paper was superimposed, means fixed in such a way that one cannot understand that there are two pages. So in that way, there is some information that can crack the whereabouts of Mr. Evans. See what they have done. Governor, see, his voice trailed off again. The governor, dredging the layers of long neglected learning, willed himself to translate the German text before him. Means the governor, he studied German up to class 6 standard, and he is trying to remember or neglected learning because he didn't learn that German language properly. Therefore, he finds it very difficult to understand the German language. And here you can see in the second paragraph, there is a line written in German language. And you must follow the plan already something. That means you can see the word used here. The vital point in the time is 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something happened at the time. Don't hit him too hard. Remember, he is a minister, and don't overdo the Scots accent when. The Scot accent means here Scottish language accent. And in the message it was given that don't hurt him so hard because he is a minister. Minister is a church minister. I mean a person, commonly we understand father in a church. So church minister, a person who is in charge of a church. So here it is written that instruction was given, do not hurt him so much because he is a minister. He is a clergyman. A fast approaching siren wailed to its crescendo, means making loud noise. The great doors of the prison yard were pushed back, and a white police car squealed to a jerky halt beside them. And the police van has arrived very hurriedly and stopped in front of them. Detective Superintendent Carter swung himself out of the passenger seat and saluted the governor. Means the policeman came with the superintendent of detective, Mr. Carter. What the hell's happening, sir? And turning to McClary, Christ, which hit him? I mean, he is surprised to see McClary was severely injured. But McClary cut across whatever explanation the governor might have given. Elsfield way, officer, I know where Evans means he is trying to misguide them by saying that Evans has gone towards Elsfield, where the office of the board is there. I mean that education board. He was breathing heavily and leaned for support against the side of the car. And he was pretending as if it was very difficult for him to control himself. In bewilderment, Carter looked to the governor for guidance what to do. Take him with you. If you think he's all right, he's only the one who seems to know what's happening. And the governor also well befooled by Mr. McClary, and he thinks that if McClary is all right, then certainly he should be accompanied in the police van, and he can only know whereabout of Mr. Evans. Elsfield Way, McClary had said, and there it was starting up at the governor from the last few lines of the German text. From Enfield Way, drive the Haddington roundabout, where, yes, of course, the examination board was Enfield Way. And in this way, the governor still is trying to grasp the meaning of the German words because he knew very less about German language. The governor turned to Jackson and Stephens. I don't need to tell you what happened, do I? His voice sounded. His voice sounded almost calm. It's a scathing contempt. Means he was very badly blamed for their negligence to their duties. And who is one would you Morons means here. Morons means what we understand that a stupid person. So the governor blames him like anything because of these two officers, Evans has been able to escape. And in the meantime, we see that Stephens he accompanied Evans up to the gate and waved him goodbye. Hearing this, Stephens just tells him that it was because of his phone call. He had to go up to the main gate escorting McClary. But the crux is that the phone call which was given by the governor actually it was fake. Because when he was called to receive the call, it was explained that he should immediately ask Mr. McClary to accompany him to the main gate, and it was Mr. Jackson who had spent 2 hours in Evans' cells in the previous evening. Means here one thing is I have forgotten to tell you that Jackson was also in charge of that cell, and the previous day both of them they checked the room completely in details. Very elaborately they checked, but they were unable to find out the reason where. I mean, the governor is blaming them that where they didn't do their work very sincerely. Otherwise, Evans wouldn't have been able to keep the things inside that cell, because there was one dress of that clergyman, scissors, and other things, which and certainly there was something like that weapon by which Evans hurt Mr. McCleary. And it is because of that weapon with which he had given McCleary such a terrible blow across the head. So, a prison van baked alongside by the governor made no immediate move. He looked down again at the last line of German to the Haddington roundabout, where you go straight over and make your way to New Graven. New Graven, where on earth, means that place was unknown to all of them. They were trying to understand what place actually it is being referred. And finally, they come to a conclusion that it was probably a code word, or and then it hit him, Newbury. God, yes, Newbury was a pretty big sort of place. So let us conclude today here, because it's a very long lesson. I shouldn't go beyond that. In the next part we will discuss. So you should go through, already I have told you that you should go through that story line by line, otherwise you will not be able to understand. Simply reading the summary will not work, because so many points are there that you need to remember. So in the next class I will continue from here. That means up to page number 15 I have completed today. Thank you. Have a nice day.